always say in this car, there's really no such thing as rush hour.
Hey, I'm Magic Mike, and I've owned so many exotic cars, and I've lost so much money along the way as I've gotten bored and traded in and out of them. But that stops right now. I'm driving 50 supercars over 50 weeks until I find and ultimately buy the perfect exotic supercar keeper for me.
This is where the McLaren spun. God, this thing is so freaking fast. I don't believe what they say. Holy shit. I genuinely don't know how any car can beat this. I really don't. It's fast. Rear wheel drive, I like the rear wheel drive, lets me get a little bit loose. And my God, does it scream. So this car being the benchmark, awesomeness is definitely a 10. I don't really know how anything's going to touch this, but we're going to find out. I don't think we could actually have a better benchmark car, and I'm glad that it's mine. Oh my God, this car just puts a smile on my face every time I drive it. Like I said, no track testing for me. This is really meant for me to find the perfect car for me. I'm not a track guy. I don't think most guys are who buy these exotic cars. They like to act like they are, but I think the track would humble most of us. I know it has for me. For me, it's street driving. So I want to know what every car performs like on the street. It's got to be fast. It's got to handle well. It's got to give you that exotic car feel. And again, this one, it more than checks all the boxes. Makes me wonder why I trade out of cars so often. And here's where I really love to test my cars. One super fast run up the ramp. Woo! Holy shit. I even let up on it a little bit. This thing is nuts. This thing is absolutely insane. Wow. If that's not a test of performance, I don't know what is. So this is how I like to test awesomeness in a car. You know, you can talk specs. This car has this car has that. Factory numbers that are all BS anyway. They're all smoke and mirrors. The reality is how much fun the car actually gives you. And this car gives me a lot of fun. I love that it's got the open top. As we talked about yesterday, super fast top, so it's not inconvenient at all. The handling is just second to none. This truly feels like the world's fastest go-kart. And that, to me, I think you should have that kind of feel out of an exotic car. Even in traffic, this car is a lot of fun. And I mean a lot of fun, not just I enjoy driving it. This car gets your blood flowing. I mean, it's pure exhilaration. So here's where the McLaren really shines. It's comfort. Today, that's what we're looking for in the car. We're like with the overall awesomeness of the car. It's got some speed, it's got some performance. We know it's got that, but also just how is it to live with? I daily drive my cars. I literally drive the McLaren, when I have Lambos, Ferraris, those are the cars that I drive on a daily basis. These are the roads I drive. Windy, fun roads, and man, sometimes I'm just cruising, I want comfort. And the McLaren, I mean, honestly, it's got that nailed. I've got the regular old McLaren seats. I don't have the sport buckets, but I got to tell you, other McLarens I've had, even with the sport buckets, it seems to be this perfect seating position. And they're super comfortable. My 675 LT was just an unbelievable car in that regard. But the 720, it really takes it to a different level. I'm literally driving in track mode with suspension. If I were to go to sport mode, I mean, the car is just, it's like butter. And you know, Performante maybe gives you like a raw feel all the time, and it's very cool to have that. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not really sure which is better, to have that constant crazy feel. I got pretty good steering feel out of McLaren. That's kind of why I keep it in track, because at least I get as much stiffness or as much road feel as I can out of it. So, general usability of the car, again, it's about as good as it gets. Driving down a nice road by the river and you just want to chill out, put the top down and just enjoy it without feel like you're getting beaten to death. Now, there's a lot of supercars I've driven that really just beat you to death all the time. And this is just not one of them. It's a really cool combination. So once again, tough car to beat. And I guess, you know, tomorrow we're running I call it the shock and awe test. And we're just gonna see how much a car actually turns heads. How much does it shock everybody when you drive by? And I can tell you from experience, the McLaren's probably gonna be, it will be up there. It would be hard for something else to really catch more attention than an orange McLaren. And what I find with the McLaren is a lot of people don't know what the McLaren is, so that kind of creates the mystique and the wanting to know what's going on. But I don't know. It's pretty much a perfect car. I haven't found anything bad about it except that there's rattles. And you know what? We really should take that into consideration when we're talking about livability, I guess. So that's where McLaren's going to have some challenge. There are rattles. I got a little rattle coming out of the side intake here. Turn on the stereo, I've got a rattle coming out of that door, I've got a rattle coming behind me, and I think you just kind of learn to live with that as a McLaren. In fact, I mean, it really, crazy to say it, but you almost have to kind of lower your expectations when it comes to a car being super solid, super tight. You know, it's definitely not an airtight car, let's put it that way. But that's just part of McLaren ownership. I don't like agree with it. I don't feel like that's how it should be. I definitely think when you spend the kind of money that you spend on a car like this, that you should get quality and not have those issues. But I just don't think McLaren's gotten there yet. So I think that's, I don't think they've gotten there yet. And I think that's really going to be one of the negative factors of the McLaren that can easily be built by like a later model Ferrari, and certainly something like a Huracan or a Performante or the new Evo that we're going to be driving very soon. Super solid cars that you can't hurt. McLaren, you can definitely hurt it. But livability wise, I'm going to give it darn close to a 10. Awesomeness overall, it's going to boost it way up, so it's probably going to get really as good a score as you can get. So overall, love it. Very, very livable, very, very fun to drive. Okay, so awesomeness. This one's so easy for me. And this is why this is the benchmark car. It's off the charts awesome. The car's fast, the car performs well. I mean, I'm literally, like I get out of that. I've done that a million times in this car, but each time I get out of this car, I'm excited. I mean, we're heading up that ramp at just insane speeds with a crazy curve ahead of us here. Without this, really, I think I would be completely loose. That's why I keep it up when I'm driving, and it would actually be faster with it down. So, I mean, I don't know. It's very hard. I'm a little bit biased, perhaps, and perhaps I'm not. I go through so many cars that it's not that I get some huge attachment to them, but I got to say, with the 720S, McLaren has completely nailed it. When they came out with the car, I think their idea really was to blow everybody away. They BS'd everybody about the horsepower of the car. It's actual wheel horsepower and not crank horsepower. They've killed it. I don't think anybody has the suspension like this, with the exception of the Performante. That's going to be the interesting car to put up against this. I've owned a Performante as well, and the Evo with its rear-wheel drive, I think it's going to give this car a good run. It'll never match the speed, but in terms of the handling, I think it can be taken out in the handling. But again, we're looking for overall awesomeness, and right now, this is the king.